Best of luck, everyone. In 3, 2, 1.
Tetris! So, as I was gonna say, let's introduce our players.
Absolutely. We'll start from the top here. Shqdwnight and Brodindamp, starting with Shqdwnight having a 1.44 PB, which is 76, 1825 ELO. Has been making kind of waves recently, especially in the competitive scene. Made their Masters debut in May, getting a top 32 finish. Currently a Div 3 CTL player and finished second in his most recent season. Isn't currently ranked in Premier Poll though, but yeah, Shqdwnight's been really doing well recently, especially. I mean, that Masters debut, of course, being incredibly notable. I think I caught a couple of those matches as well, and Shqdwnight definitely did give a good account of themselves. Well,
yeah.
Also have Brodin here on the right, has a 2.2 million PB with a 1962 ELO, so a bit higher of a ELO compared to Shqdwnight. Also has one appearance in the Classic Tetris Monthly Masters. Isn't currently in the Classic Tetris League, but has been previously in CTWC. Yeah, my bad. So, yeah, in the top 8 of 2022, as well as 2023, as well as top 16 back in 2019. So, yeah, Brodindamp has been on this rodeo before, but is hoping to sort of make a impact again and this time around.
Oh my god.
As right now, Shqdwnight quite high up, actually.
He's gonna need... Oh no, but that double flip. That is
still might be able to get out of this here.
And he's trying to get pieces. Wait. He's able to get those pieces.
Still alive.
Oh my goodness.
Has it open, and there's the bar, and a dirty Tetris for Shqdwnight.
Wow. Masterful survival from Shqdwnight to stay alive.
That's one way to get started.
But he's not out of it yet. Needs more pieces.
Now right back into it. Gets that bar over. Now has the right side open.
And gets that long bar over to the right. This is a large task for him, but he is staying alive right now. I thought he was gonna die, but no. Now he's down to the bottom. He's down closer to the bottom. What a masterful survival from Shqdwnight.
Yeah, that takes guts. Absolutely. Right now, Brodin is ahead by 75,000 points, likely as a result of that rough board situation that Shqdwnight has. On the bottom, Lazer's opened up, but almost 200,000 point lead over Firedox, 330 to 136.
Yeah, a little bit of a suffer game for Firedox right now. If you see that 14% Tetris rate, definitely not what he wants to see here, but definitely has a lot of time to make it up, and he's just laughing about it. He's just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it happened, but he's gonna make the best of it. And actually, Lazer getting in a little bit of trouble here. Gonna need the right pieces, but looks like he's getting them. So he's gonna be clean. Firedox is gonna be clean. Gets the Tetris. And yeah, both of them at the bottom are clean. Shqdwnight also has made it back down to the bottom, but is now behind by 130,000 points. Brodin at 386, Shqdwnight at 277. That one dig, that masterful dig from Shqdwnight is kind of hurting him a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Classic Tetris can do. One dig can put you behind, but as I always say, no matter what you're behind or whatever your Tetris or whatever, as long as you're alive, you can still win.
Yeah.
The only way that you can guarantee that you are not going to be able to win something is if you top out. That's it. As long as you're still going, anything is possible, especially at this level.
Yeah, and Shqdwnight, I think he's making pretty good work of it. Still sort of like keeping up with Brodin right now with that 100,000 point lead hasn't really changed that much. So that survival really helping him out. And transition at 353, not the best transition, but being alive is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, Firedox with currently on 346, Lazer 540, both of them in level 20 right now.
And Lazer also got into a pretty sticky situation, but was able to get out of it. And Firedox not quite able to capitalize on it. Still behind by quite a lot. 5.5 Tetrises. 402 for Firedox. 549 for Lazer.
A couple misdrops here from Brodin, but very nice ability to set up the adjustments. A nice tuck there, that T piece, but double flips the J piece, but still will get the bar over, stabilize the board a little bit. And getting some very nice burns to control the situation. And it takes a lot of ability and a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error to be able to pull off those kind of moves, especially at the speeds that these players are currently playing at.
Yeah.
It might look routine for them, but it is very difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Shqdwnight has basically caught up. He is ahead by 15 lines, so it's not as much of a lead as it seems, but he's making good work of it. He is recovering a lot, but those pieces are not great.
Still getting that bar over.
But, that is a great long bar.
Taking the double as well. Shqdwnight still keeping control of the board. Opens up another opportunity. Maybe it could... Okay, nice with the J piece. Now has an L dependency on the left. Gets the long bar over. Now turns it into a J dependency. And gets the J piece. Opens back up the well.
And now he's clean. And the Brodin...
Tetris for Shqdwnight here.
Brodin gets a dirty center well Tetris. 672 for Shqdwnight. 701 for Brodin. At the bottom, 563 for Firedox, 861 for Lazer. Lazer kind of pulling away right now. That lead has widened to over 300,000 points. Firedox has a really tough task ahead of him. That is going to be so tough. I don't know what he could do. If Lazer just keeps this up, this could just be insurmountable even with the level 29 play.
Yeah, I mean, Lazer has been in control pretty much all game long, but again, Firedox still in it, but will need a huge 29 to try and close this down. Meanwhile, speaking of level 29, we're about to reach it on a couple of these boards here. First will be Firedox at 651, but not able to get anything over, and Firedox will top out at 651. Lazer with a max out, and Shqdwnight topping out at 770. So on both sides, Brodin is good for game one up top, and Lazer on the bottom will take
matches started here in
3, 2, 1. Tetris. And while we're getting started here, as we've already introduced the players up top, I think Meme would be a good idea to introduce the players that we have here on the bottom as well.
Yeah, so on the left, we have Firedox, who has a 1 million PB, 1,200,000 PB, 1.2 million, so sorry, which is 133rd on a leaderboard, with an ELO of 1676, which is 155th. And obviously now seed 38 in the gold bracket. So doing pretty well. So most recently, Firedox got promoted to Division 3 and made Masters for the first time last month. And got into a top 16 bronze last year. So kind of making waves here. Making a lot of waves here, actually. And he is definitely showing his rolling chops. He is showing that rolling, he's got a lot of mastery of it. And so we'll just have to see how he uses that to pull ahead of Lazer Monkey, who has a PB of 3 million, which is ranked 25th in the world, with a pretty large lineup of performances. Has made the CTM Masters event multiple times, made top 8 in that, won the second tier of the CTM tournament, which is a pretty big deal. Also, in Division 1 in CTL, which is that upper echelon. So, again, very, very strong portfolio Lazer has. And so, yeah, has made top 16 in 2022 and top 32 last year. So, looking to make a big splash again here this year. That is Firedox and Lazer.
Yeah, absolutely. We got great players here, and at the moment, some decent starts across the board from all of our players here. At the moment, up top, Brodin currently ahead by about 80,000 points, just a little bit under right now. Shqdwnight has a dirty Tetris setup, and we'll get it on row 3. Meanwhile, Firedox has the well covered here, can get something over to the left-hand side to try and alleviate the pressure on there. Lazer also has the well covered.
A little bit of trouble on the capture, but
we're good. We're good.
And that's a really
good. And a nice dirty there from Firedox.
To burn back down to the bottom. And he's nodding. Like, that was pretty good. Well done. So, pretty close at the bottom. At the top, a little bit of a different story. Shqdwnight behind by around 3 or so Tetrises. Building up so high up, but gets a Tetris. Meanwhile, Brodin is burning down a little, so that might give Shqdwnight the chance that he needs in this game. Right now, Shqdwnight at 318, Brodin at 365. Both of them are sort of struggling with this P sequence.
And
Shqdwnight gets Tetris ready, well, almost Tetris ready. And gets another Tetris. Brodin still has a lot of work to do. But actually, he is clean and scores a Tetris.
Yeah, all the players right now, we're about 100 lines in or so, level 19 coming up shortly. Chris M asking, why is that Colin guy up there? I thought he retired. I thought so too. That's a great question. I do wonder why. Maybe you should ask him yourself.
Yeah, Colin, I think long time supporter of Tetris, kind of was involved a lot with Classic Tetris Wars. I think you know more about that, right?
Yeah, shout out to Wars, absolutely.
Yeah, we got a lot of people who have worked a lot with Classic Tetris Wars here on the commentator booth, so it's a pretty big deal.
It is, and it's really fun as well. Not only to, of course, play in, but also to sort of be a part of. As I've been a part of Wars for quite a while, and it's been a blast, and it's truly a unique experience in terms of the Classic Tetris community, like no other. Many different game modes. Of course, you have your sort of traditional clashes, but it's the perfect place to be if you want to see 8 players at once go do some wacky things. I mean, you can set PBs on there. You can sort of go in 4 teams of 2, 2 teams of 4, whatever. It's a wonderful place. Check it out when you can. But right now, all our players have reached level 19 transitions and beyond here. Broden holding on to about
Oh,
100,000 point lead. And meanwhile, Lazer.
Shqdwnight gets that long bar over to the left.
And Lazer at 50,000 points ahead. Shqdwnight's board a little bit rough, but right now getting some good pieces.
That is so dangerous right now.
Nice skim there, but didn't quite have the long bar to push over to the left-hand side.
Oh, no.
Dead drops that bar. Now in a bit of trouble here. And Shqdwnight not going to be able to get anything over and tops out at 479. Broden on 624 will take game number 2. And now match points up top.
Yeah, just insanely just rough situation for Shqdwnight there. Just wasn't quite able to get out of it. And now Broden up 2-0.
Down to the bottom, Firedox and Lazer. Right now, they're on level 24. Lazer ahead by 100, almost 100,000 points right now. Has a clean board, and we'll get another Tetris down there. We're good to go up top as well. So we'll go ahead and get things ready to go for game number 3 there. Best luck to the players in 3, 2, 1, Tetris! Tetris for Lazer up to 779 at level 25, line 193. Firedox 636. Nice split triple there from Firedox, trying to get the left side open. Now has that Tetris ready. Tetris Firedox.
Lazer having to dig a little bit right now. Not quite down to the bottom yet. And Firedox is just scoring left while Tetris is still behind by around 100,000 points, but actually Lazer got out of that really quickly. And still maintaining a pretty solid lead. 889 for Lazer, 748 for Firedox. Firedox goes just a few lines away from kill screen and behind by a lot, so it is going to come down to the kill screen as to whether or not Firedox is going to take it. And he goes in with a little bit of an awkward board, but making some work of it. Doesn't get that piece over to the left, but gets the long bar over.
Tetris Lazer.
Max out for Lazer. Firedox's board getting up high, but gets that long bar over to the left, but misses the next one, and it's going to be done at 888.
That means Lazer will take game 2, and on now both sides, we are at match point. Up top, we're still just getting underway. Both players with decent looking boards. Currently, Shqdwnight 174, Broden 152. We're near enough neck and neck when it comes to those two. Tetris Shqdwnight.
Yeah, Shqdwnight building off row 2. Looks like kind of has been a little bit of a theme here.
Looks like we're ready for game number 3 on the bottom here. Let's get that counter down and underway in 3, 2, 1, Tetris!
But as I was saying, Shqdwnight just building those Tetrises on row 2, row 3, and staying efficient. Staying like neck and neck right now with Broden. Just really insane work right now. Over at the bottom, Firedox has a little bit of a cheeky Z-spin setup, but should be fine. Both players looking clean. Both of them have gotten their first Tetris. So, yeah, looking pretty good.
Just well for Lasers, we're getting underway again for the 3rd game on the bottom as well. It's been pretty action-packed, all things considered so far in these 2 matches here. Lazer and Broden both looking to close this out and book their spot in the top 32, but they still have one more game to go, maybe more, depending on what happens here. Shqdwnight just waiting for that long bar, currently a 28-piece stroke, finally gets that bar for the Tetris. And,
oh my god.
Brodin.
And gets another one, but that board is a little bit not comfortable. At the bottom, though, Firedox fighting those pieces a little bit. Not getting the pieces that he wants to get out of this. Okay, actually, that's perfect. And yes, he is going to get out of it. Right now, though, with a 4 Tetris deficit over Lazer, 110 for Firedox, 232 for Lazer. So Firedox, again, so far behind of Lazer. There's still a lot of time, but that, again, has sort of been the theme here in this match.
Yeah, Lazer's been relentless so far. Hasn't really looked like there's been any fault so far, but Firedox putting up a good fight here. Is currently Tetris ready, building high, just needs that bar to arrive. Nice double, and then the bar for the Tetris.
Now
Nice there for Lazer.
Firedox waiting on the bar and gets it. And another one. Immediately following suit. And sets up the Vits.
Nice Vits there, Firedox.
Very well done from Firedox. And going at the top, we can see that Shqdwnight transitions in at 531, building on row 2 basically the entirety of level 18, and he's able to keep up with Brodin, who is a few lines away from transition himself.
Yeah.
Just one more Tetris available. Gets it.
Gets
going in
it.
at 525. So neck and neck at the top. Shqdwnight kind of having to burn a little bit, but should be pretty good. But has to burn just a little bit, and we'll see. Is he? Yes. He gets that dirty Tetris going into the lead, actually.
And it's still very, very close between those two players. But it's interesting to look at the difference in the line count here. Although the real-time lead might switch, because Brodin is significantly behind in lines at this current stage, Brodin may still very well have the advantage pace-wise, but real-time lead is what eventually counts in the end, so it'll be up to Brodin to capitalize when fit. But right now, Brodin still does have the real-time lead, 642 to Shqdwnight's 595.
And a 36-piece drought is not going to help at all. Oh no, and also those double flips from Shqdwnight, that is going to mean that he's going to have to burn a little.
I think the board here looks a bit less bad than it is, but now Shqdwnight with that misdrop in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. And, okay, no, isn't going to set up the center well. Just playing it safe, but those double flips are kind of hurting him right now, behind by almost 100,000 points now. And actually, as I said that, Brodin also dealing with double flip of his own.
Anyway, keep an eye on, look what Lazer is doing right now. 587, line 122. This is excellent scoring so far from Lazer, just continuing, just put up a dominant performance here. But Firedox not too far behind on 521. Both players now into level 19. So they're getting well underway here. Meanwhile, it's still very close in real-time score between Shqdwnight and Brodin. 770 to 787. Tetris for Brodin to go to 819. Tetris for Shqdwnight as well. Shqdwnight on level 28. Level 29 will be approaching in just 9 lines from now. So
yeah, it's going to be a crazy finish at the top. Just Shqdwnight, one more Tetris into 29 and goes in at 855.
Yeah, what Shqdwnight does here is going to be crucial. Needs to win this game to stay alive in the match and the tournament. Meanwhile, Brodin, with a bit of a high right side here, trying to set up a column 3 well, is just going to burn it down, but now is going for the Tetris here, wants to get it into 29, skims with the T, and will get the Tetris to go in at 9-11 into level 29. So here we go up top.
It is a kill screen battle. Shqdwnight right now on level 31, trying to set up maybe the Tetris. And
Going for it, gets the Tetris.
Now within a Tetris of Brodin, who is also alive right now. And Shqdwnight takes the lead on level 32 right now. Brodin gets another Tetris, 971. This is so close. Shqdwnight gets another Tetris.
987 to 978. It is still so close. The tension, you could cut it with a knife. A razor thin one. But a couple of misdrops here for Shqdwnight. Still low on the board, but oh, the hang of the J piece.
And
oh, it doesn't flip the S piece over, and that's going to be it for Shqdwnight at 995. Brodin's on 990, needs 996, but doesn't get the bar over. Can Brodin get anything over? No, he can't.
And Shqdwnight stays alive.
By just 23, or yeah, but 3,000 points, 3,200 points is what keeps Shqdwnight alive.
Yeah, it's those 29 Tetrises that he got. That's what made the difference.
That's the other thing about being ahead in lines. Sure, you might be potentially behind on pace, but you may have that real-time lead, and that's what made the difference here in Game 3. We'll get Game 4 started shortly, but meanwhile, down on the bottom here, Lazer with a max out on level 26, now going into level 27, still 259,000 points ahead as Firedox fighting with the board, but we'll get ready for Game 4 here. Best of luck to the players. Can Shqdwnight start the battle back, or will Brodin try and finish this off in 3, 2, 1, Tetris!
Firedox still trying to fight this board.
Back
and
open.
So close
nice
to 29.
Triple.
This is going to be really tricky. And getting good pieces, but this is so high up. Like, this is going to be so tough. And that misdrop is, yeah, that's going to do it.
Firedox not going to be able to get that over. 851 top out, which means Lazer comfortably ahead on 1.189 million is going to take game number 3, and that will be the set. Lazer will move on, and that's Firedox's day done. But what a performance and what a run from Firedox to go from bronze last year, now skipping silver, going straight to gold.
Yeah, competing with the top, competing with the top players, and just being able to keep up. Well done to Firedox.
Right now, we're underway for game number 4 here. Shqdwnight just about getting game 3 in what was such a tightly contested game 4 here. Right now, both players pretty close as they're just getting their opening lines and their opening Tetrises.
Yeah, and that actually kind of seems like a big theme is those really, really small leads making the difference. Differences of just a few lines deciding a game. We saw that with Aaron and Doodle. That coming down to just a few lines was what Aaron needed to get that reverse sweep. And now here, Shqdwnight can potentially use that to turn this around into a game 5.
We'll see what happens. I think we got a couple of Maturino donations in that we should probably shout out here if you'd like to.
Yes, thank you so much to Suki, who I believe has competed in the online CTWCs. Thank you so much for the $10 contribution. Absolutely.
And we got a couple of other ones here. I haven't been here, so I'm not sure which ones are brand new, which ones are, so I might be doing some twice, but this one especially, if it has been done already, should be done again. ABI with a $200 contribution. Thank you so much for the contribution there. Much appreciated. But if you want to contribute as well, go ahead and use the command !Maturino. The more we get into the prize pool, the more that we can give these players at the end of a fantastic tournament of Tetris. It's a long and winding road.
Wait, how much?
Right now, Shqdwnight on 199. Brodin with 311, opening up almost 5 Tetris lead here early on. But as I said, it is early on, so you never know what can happen and how things can change in an instant. Interestingly, Brodin didn't opt to take the Tetris there, but we'll take that one. Shqdwnight filling into the dependency as well. Can maybe try setting up dirty. Will do so and gets the dirty center well Tetris.
Yeah, like that one sort of like weird looking placement was actually what he needed to get Tetris ready. And so really, really good insight from Shqdwnight. But unfortunately just down by 160,000 points right now. Brodin just sort of on a tear right now. 425, now 427 for Brodin, 261 for Shqdwnight. A 7+ Tetris lead right now for Brodin.
Tetris for Brodin as well, currently on 452. Shqdwnight 284.
Both players clean. Brodin with a little bit of an awkward stack. But, oh, now having to burn a little bit, but should be getting out of it. Yes. And scores a Tetris, going with the 503. And in the chat, someone asking who's in the background.
I wonder who.
That is Colin, who has been a long-time supporter of the Tetris community. I believe has been in charge of Classic Tetris Wars, which is a pretty big online sort of Tetris event, Tetris tournament sort of deal.
You're talking like we haven't mentioned it before about 15 minutes ago, ma'am.
Yeah.
But yeah, CTW is a mass. It's sort of, if you think about sort of like these massive online multiplayer games, it's essentially the Tetris equivalent to all those sort of battle royale games that you might play. It is truly a one-of-a-kind experience. You can see up to 8 players face off against each other, whether they're going for PBs or whether they're pairing up into teams of 4 or 2 against others, and maybe even just going individually and just trying to get the most points possible. It is a truly amazing thing. Colin used to do matches and events every Sunday on there, has since retired, and I've actually taken over that thing, and it is truly a one-of-a-kind experience, not only to play in, but also to help out and to commentate into. So shout out to Classic Tetris Wars. They deserve all the love that they get. But right now the players are in level 21, 607 to 550, about a 50,000 point gap here between the players at the moment, as continuing to go through. The line deficit right now is about 11, so not as intense as we've seen in other games in this match, but right now Shqdwnight is still ahead in lines as well, but will get the Tetris.
But
nice adjustment there from Brodin.
Yeah, but still, he's not Tetris ready, so that's going to give Shqdwnight some time to...
He's ready now.
Yeah, just as I said that, he is Tetris ready. But no, not the right pieces. But yes, there we go. Tetris for Brodin to go up to 682. Shqdwnight at 607. So Brodin still with a little bit of a lead, but that can go either way.
Shqdwnight getting back down to the bottom, setting up a left well now. Just waiting patiently for that bar. Takes a triple. Is going to take some delayed burns here.
Yeah.
Could use a T-piece. Gets the T-piece. Going for another delayed burn there with that L-piece. Nice skim. Now Tetris ready. There it is. Tetris for Shqdwnight.
Left well Tetris.
689 to 730 now.
Yeah.
And Tetris Brodin.
Shqdwnight still having to burn a little, but should be back down to the bottom very soon. Oh, but that is maybe not the right piece, but it doesn't matter. He is back down to the bottom at 732. Brodin at 803.
Tetris
Now,
again, Brodin.
Yeah, Brodin at 840. Shqdwnight at 776 with 1 or 2 Tetrises more until the kill screen. Now 1 more Tetris. I think trying to gun for it. Gets it, going up to 813. Still pretty far behind though. Okay, not less than 100,000 points, but still a pretty substantial lead for Brodin right now, who has Tetrises before level 29 still. And Brodin goes in at 953. Shqdwnight gets that long bar to the left, but
oh, Shqdwnight, nice, gets the bar over to the left. Shqdwnight still alive, but bit of a high center, getting those pieces around.
Nice long bar.
Oh, but a flip of that T piece, still fighting. Oh, no. Doesn't get that bar over. And it is game over for Shqdwnight, 864, but Brodin with 978 will move on. GG's, a great match, all things considered, from both of our players. Very well done. But it will be Brodindamp who advances to the round of 32.
Hello everyone, it's your favorite underwater host Sharky here. I want to say hope you all enjoyed the matches. Now for round 1 lore drops, we're going to only be talking about 2 players, and those are the new players that have not been introduced in a tournament yet. So in this lore drop, we're going to be talking about Dangler and Alex T. Now Dangler is a person who at one point was known as the Pace King for his ridiculous pre-level 29 efficiency. Dangler would make his debut in competitive Classic Tetris Sphere in June of 2022 with a semifinals finish in CTM Hopefuls. 2 months later, Dangler would win his first tournament in the Futures Bracket in CTM. However, things wouldn't stop there, as 2023 would be the year that Dangler started making a name for himself. Dangler would debut in Masters in February of that year and would have a semis placement in Challengers. However, Mega Masters roll around and Dangler places in top 16, which is quite impressive. Dangler would then follow up that performance with a Challengers victory in May. However, the real surprise would come in CTWC that year, because not only then was Dangler's performance going to fly under the radar, but it was quite impressive for a CTWC debut. First, Dangler would qual 2nd seed, which was overshadowed by Sidnev's 1st seed with 16 maxes, and then Dangler would place top 8, losing to Dog that year. 2024 would see more successes and near successes, starting the year with a 1st place finish in CTM Challengers in January, and would follow it up with 7 Master appearances, 3 of which he placed top 4, those months being August, September, and October. 2024, Dangler would also still improve on his CTWC standing, which is quite hard to do in these days, making it to top 4, but going out to Dog in a sweep again. Dangler would also end up winning the Northeast Regional shortly after CTWC as well. 2025 would be a bit more of a slower year, but we'll still see Master appearances, and Dangler would place top 4 in May, losing to Dog and yet again another sweep. He has to face Dan B, which needless to say isn't an easy opponent, but it's not impossible. Now we gotta talk about your defending world champion, Alex T. So when I looked at his Wikipedia, it didn't really settle in just how elite Alex T is and has been over the course of career. So instead of deep diving into the competitive history like I've done with all the other players, because we would be here for a long time, it would just simply be better for me to tell you a lump sum of the things that he's won in near win placements, because this is honestly kind of wild. So first, Alex T won 6 different Master events, 1 in 2021 and 2022, 3 in 2024, and 1 so far in 2025. Not only that, but Alex T has won a Mega Masters event back in 2023. In addition to that, Alex T has been a CTO Division 1 Group Stage champion multiple times, as well as a playoff champion. 4 group stage wins, with 3 of them being flawless, a 10-0 in Season 12, 5-0 in Season 24, and 6-0 in Season 25. And of course, he is your CTWC 2024 champion. This doesn't even mention all the second place or semifinal finishes in things like Genesis, CTM, CTL, Brawl, and more. In fact, before winning CTWC in 2024, it was kind of a steady progression. His debut in 2021 was his worst performance in CTWC, and that was top 32. 2022 saw a top 16 placement going out to Sidnev, then 2023 saw a top 8 placement also going out to Sidnev. Needless to say, Heps is going to have his handful with this one. But that's going to do it for today's lore drop. Now, I want to kind of say, obviously, I commentated at the event. I was there. If you haven't watched any of the matches, I strongly recommend that you start watching. Basically, you should watch all of them because they're all kind of insane. But definitely round one, because you're going to see some crazy stuff happening. Without me spoiling too much, you're going to see some stuff. Anyways, like the video if you like it, comment down what you think of the matches, and if you're excited for round one, and if you want more, make sure to subscribe. I'm your favorite underwater host, Sharky, and I'll see you in the next match for CTWC 2025.